I'm Lance with EagleRidge Roofing and Construction. Today we're going to do a how to maintain your roof. Something we'd recommend doing at least once a year. We need a good sturdy ladder, and then we're going to use this tool here. I'll show you what it's for later. Basic caulk gun with some sort of a UV resistant product. You can get it down at your local Home Depot or your favorite hardware store. You just want something that's going to be resistant to the UV rays, and we'll show you why when we get up.
We're getting on the ladder now. We're going to head up on this roof. This is the part where you need to be a little bit careful. Is that going to damage the gutter?
Nope. As long as you don't bang it on it, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Okay, you heard it. You'll be fine. Just don't bang it on the gutter. Should you wear flip-flops when you do this?
No, get a good sturdy shoe. It's got some grip to it that keep you safe on the roof.
All right, you're heading up. Oh, one-handed. I recommend for OSHA safety reasons you use two hands. All right, we are up here on the roof. Lance is a natural up here. I'm a little bit shaky. What are we talking about now?
One of the first things you're going to want to maintain on your roof, just like you do your car or anything else, you're going to want to maintain your gutters and keep them clean. A lot of people don't like to get on the roof, so it's easier to use a telescoping hose that you can connect on the end of any of your garden hoses, and then you can extend it up. And what you're going to do is you're just going to extend up and go right down the gutter. So from the ground or just off your ladder, you're going to spray out the gutters. You'll start at one end and drag it all the way to the downspout. On the gutter, you can see all the granulation that's accumulated, and you can see what's happening. It's got ponding water.
Why don't you take that camera and show them that granulation?
So here is the granulation. You can see that there's probably 2 inches of granulation and dirt there. You can see how the water is ponding. When that happens, you run the risk of water filling up and running behind the shingles here and creating a possible leak in your soffit or even down in your home. So the granulation's here creating a backup of water all the way along there. And you can see it here. That's why it's important to do this on a yearly basis.
So on the gutter clean out, they technically don't need to get on the roof to do that with that telescoping pole.
Nope, you can clean it from the ground just off of a ladder. If you're afraid or if your roof's too steep, you can do it right from the ground.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay, and you pick one of those up at Home Depot?
Yep, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever.
About 20 bucks?
Yeah, 20, 30 bucks.
Okay, we're definitely going to need to do that for this homeowner here. They have been neglecting their maintenance on their gutters. Okay, what's next for the inspection?
So next thing we're going to talk about is the pipe jacks, they're called, or pipe protrusions. If you look over here just to your left
there. Why don't you just take that camera and show them what you're talking about?
Sure. So this is called a pipe jack, and this is a vent for your plumbing. You have a galvanized base, and you've got a neoprene seal right here. A lot of the times over the years, the seal starts to break away from the pipe. This one's been sealed, which is good. So the pipe will move back and forth, and this will pull away. And so this is where your silicone or something that you like that's UV resistant. People have different preferences, but just grab something that's UV resistant and don't use tar. So tar underneath the shingles is great, but on top of them, it doesn't work. So that would be a pipe protrusion. This is your vent pipe coming out of your furnace. With this one here, you can see it's starting to crack out right here. If you look really close, you can see it's starting to crack out. So that could use some sealing.
How much do you put on? Let's see, so he's just using that caulk gun. Let's see the bead to get on there. Oh, wow. Can you guys see that nice bead? Okay, cool. Just right around there.
Just go all the way around, all the way around.
His videographer here is not quite as comfortable standing around on the roof, so you'll have to...
So what you do is if you don't get it on really perfectly square, you just wet your finger. And then just wipe it. It'll just smooth right out and it won't get on your finger.
That's what my mom used to do when she got stuff on my face. She would just lick her finger and smear it around.
Same thing. You just smear it around right there, and then you're all sealed up. So it's all taken care of.
Awesome. Well done. Is that the only thing you need to maintain on an attic vent?
On these, yeah, there's not much more you need to do to that. Just make sure that's sealed up. So another place you want to watch, what's called valley flashing. And this part may not apply to everyone because not everyone has valley flashing. Basically what happens when they install the shingles, first they put down this metal flashing, it's called valley metal, and then they shingle up to it, and they cut a straight line so the water can flow down through there. What you want to check on these is where they join together, like here. They're 10-foot sections. One I've noticed really bad on this one is here. You can see how this is starting to come up. If there were an ice dam or a debris dam, water would back up underneath there, possibly. And we'll talk more about ice dams and debris dams here in a minute, but flashings are also located on any roof to wall, where the roof meets a wall, like in this section. So like here, oh, here's a perfect example of a leak. If you notice here, there's a hole in the flashing. That would be a leak where water could leak down into the attic from there. And then you have, going up this side, you're gonna have what's called step flashing. So it'll be a flashing and then a shingle, then flashing and then a shingle all the way down. And then along here, you'd have what's called L metal, which is a solid piece of 4x4 metal that goes in there underneath the stucco, underneath the brick, whatever you have, underneath the siding. And then the shingles come up over top of that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our silicone and we're just gonna take and inject some of that silicone right in there. Right in there. And if you notice, you can see the nail head right there. We're just gonna inject that right there. That'll keep that from leaking. Not a ton of water, but when we get to the ice damming section, we'll talk about that a little bit more. So that's your flashing. It's called roof to wall flashing. Oh, there's another hole right there. So we'll just take the silicone and inject some right in there so that it doesn't leak. Oh, also flashing here is what's called a fascia tie-in. It's where the fascia metal meets the roof, and a flashing right here. And you just want to make sure that that's in there, and it goes all the way up to the point here, and then it's sealed. Somebody put some black tar there. I'm just gonna put a little bit of silicone there, just to make sure that's all sealed up. Also, here they've done a good job. When you do the ridge shingles, the last piece you put on, you have to do what's called top nail, which the nails are exposed. It's always good if they forgot to do that, you just take and dab a little silicone on there and do something like that, just seal it up. And as you look around the roof, you'll find those. Here's another one where the ridge runs across here. They got ridge vent on this home, and they've put a little dab of silicone on those. And again, you'll see it over here. So same thing, just keep those sealed up, because what could happen is water could follow that nail down into the attic and drip. You'll also have them on your pipe jacks here. The nails are exposed right there. So that's what you're looking for, make sure they're all sealed up.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be videoing Lance right now, but this is absolutely terrifying. So he's taking the camera. I'll back in the shot for a minute here, but I just want you to know that, like, I see why people pay someone else to do this. I thought this would be so easy to come up here and film him teaching you how to do your annual roof inspection, and I am sitting down because I'm like, holy cow, I'm going to fall off this roof. So anyhow, I'm gonna film him how easily he walks around this roof like a mountain goat. Okay, he is just siliconing up the ridge vents where he was teaching you about. I'm gonna let you have like a full frame shot so that I don't have to move. Can you imagine getting up on these steep roofs? I can't. Okay, babe, I noticed there's like discoloration in the shingles. What's going on there?
So
okay.
What you'll see is, if you notice, there's a line, a distinct line right here. It goes all the way down here. You got lighter, darker, and then lighter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Shingle manufacturers, when they manufacture their shingles, the different batches of shingle come out in just a little bit variation in color. So if the batches get mixed together, most of the roofing supply companies try to keep them together. You're gonna see that on a lot of roofs. Certainty is the only company I know of that warranties against shading, and especially on the dark colors, you get shading quite a lot. So Certainty is there. And I'm not just touting Certainty, but that's what we use because they guarantee they won't shade, and if they do, then they'll pay to have it replaced. So
awesome. Okay, cool. We need to make a video on how to choose the right shingle color. That's gonna be, we'll do that next. Okay. All right, anything else that we need to show them on how to properly maintain their roof?
Yeah, I want to talk to him about ice dams.
Okay, let's go.
So,
Where are you going?
I'm going to go down by the gutter.
Oh, I'm not going down by the gutter
All right,
with
let me
you,
take
so
that.
well, I'll stay here safely perched.
You stay there safely.
Yeah, I'm staying right here, just safely
Like a
perched.
pigeon, kind of.
Yeah, perched right.
All right. So what we're going to talk about is ice damming. This will apply to the people that live in colder, snowy climates where you get water that comes off the roof and freezes in the gutter. The gutters are made out of aluminum for the most part, and so it's the first place to freeze. And then what happens is that freezes, it starts to build back up on the roof. So you'll get ice that's 3, 6, 12 inches deep, and what that does is that creates a dam where the water is just ponding. And with the hydrostatic pressure, what happens is that pressure pushes the water up under the shingles, and then it finds a way to get down inside the roof. So you want to make sure and watch your roofs. If you start seeing icicles hanging off your gutters, you've got ice dams going on. And there's different products you can use, heat tape and slip sheet, and we can cover that in another video, but things that you can use to eliminate ice damming. But again, that's why it's so important to keep your gutters clean, so that as the water melts off the roof, it can flow out and down through the gutter and the downspout. So that's what I was talking about earlier on this portion here of the flashing in the valley, is you get an ice dam here, it's pushing water up there, it's gonna come in somewhere. It'll go down on the underlayment, possibly ice and water shield if they put it in the valley, but at some point it's gonna come out, even if it comes down, and it'll go behind the gutter and wind up dripping down on your concrete. So that's something to watch for. If you have ice dams, probably best to talk to a professional. It's not a great idea to get up on the roof and start chipping those away with a shovel or something. You'll definitely damage your shingles. Another thing to check is your ventilation. If you notice here on this home, they have what's called a ridge vent. This one is a baffled ridge vent. You see here, what it does when you have wind blowing across here, it creates a negative airflow. And then when there's no wind, this is open all the way across, this ridge is opened up. So the air just naturally rising will flow out through the vent. And you can see it's there, it's all the way along. Janelle's perched on it right now.
It's actually a beautiful view. Check out the sunset, it's super romantic.
And you wanna see the sunset? Oh yeah. Over here on the garage, they've got the ridge vent. Here you can see the shading really bad. You see the dark and the light sections. Again, over here you see it really severe. On the top section of the roof is dark and then light. So anyway, the ridge vent runs continuously across there. The reason I bring up ventilation is because in the winter time, if you're under ventilated, what happens is the snow melts up here and runs down and freezes on the eave by the gutter. That's the coldest part of the roof. That's what contributes to ice damming. So this is a great exhaust. A lot of homes have turtle vents. Like if you look on this home next to us, they have what's called turtle vents. And those are okay. They're an inferior ventilation system in my opinion, but that's another option that you'll have. And so there's calculations you can do. Those vents right there will ventilate about 150 to 200 square feet of attic space. So we can get into more of that later if you'd like, but just want to make sure that you have enough ventilation because a lot of homes get missed. And so that adds to the problem of ice damming in the wintertime, and then the shingles overheating in the summertime, which would create a lot of granulation loss like you see here in the gutter.
If they do have turtle vents on their home, is there any type of maintenance they should be doing, caulking or sealing around those?
Yeah, like those particular ones are plastic vents and they're notorious for cracking. They have metal vents that are better, but yeah, just keep an eye on them and make sure there's no cracking. If there's any cracking, you can silicone them up for a while and then you'll want to replace them.
About how old do you think this roof is that we're on right now? If just by looking at it.
By looking at it, I guess it's probably 5 to 8 years old.
Okay, so it's in pretty good shape?
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape.
So by maintaining it, I mean, why not? I never get on a roof.
You're just preventing leaks, you're preventing anything, especially in your ventilation. If you don't have proper ventilation, you see lots of granulation in your gutter. You're obviously underventilated, the roof's getting too hot, You're probably seeing ice dams in the wintertime. Your home is excessively hot in the summertime. So lots of benefits to checking your roof annually, like everything else we
Like you're changing your car's oil?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm looking at the roof over there, and I'm seeing like white on the shingles. What is going on? Is that just a crappy old roof, or can you see it?
Yeah, it's just a worn out roof. So you've got the major granulation loss due to age. You got a very limited exhaust. You got a couple of turtle vents. It's just not ventilated properly, and it's just an old roof.
Okay, so they're due for a replacement. Would
For
you,
sure.
I mean, obviously still doing some maintenance here, or would you just be like, there's probably some hail damage on that thing. They could get insurance to cover it, you think?
Yeah, there's a couple of items that are coverable within most insurance policies. I'm not a huge advocate of taking advantage of insurance, but if it's something that's coverable, absolutely. What you're looking for is you're looking for hail damage and wind damage, and that's something that we can do as professionals. We can inspect that when we do an inspection for you. If you're going to do it yourself, I don't have any here to show you what they look like, but we can do another segment.
Let's do a video showing them what the difference
wind.
between hail and blisters, because I know that's okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, skylights. I don't see any skylights on this roof, but what if they've got skylights?
So skylights are going to be, again, about flashing, where it's your 4x4 L metal and your step flashing that keep the water from penetrating into the roof. And so it would fall into the same flashing that we did down here on the front of the home. It could possibly be sealed temporarily, but ultimately it needs to be replaced or the counter flashing.
Let's say the homeowner doesn't have an asphalt roof. They've got a metal roof or a shake or tile. Do we need to do a different video, or what's the maintenance checklist look like for that?
For wood shakes, it's going to be fairly similar. You're going to check all your protrusions, your pipe seals. You're going to check your flashing. You're going to check all of that. For metal, it's going to be similar, but there's some different things you'll want to look for when you're doing metal, especially on metal. You want to be careful. It's very slick.
I'm not getting on a metal roof.
Yeah. So basically the same things. Again, it's back to making sure the gutters are clean, making sure that your water's flowing, make sure you got ventilation, make sure all your pipes are sealed, make sure your nails are covered, make sure everything's sealed up, and just cleaned out and taken care of and washed over. Biggest thing is a lot of people live by trees. They have lots of debris that would gather in. This is what's called a valley, where you have two slopes of the roof coming together. On a downward slope, it's called a valley, and debris will catch in there and get stuck in there, and it will act almost like an ice dam. It'll back up the water and it'll cause problems.
I think that wraps up the home maintenance. Anything else you want to talk about?
That's it. If it's something you don't want to do, you don't feel comfortable getting on the roof, like Janelle, and you want help, we offer a peak protection plan where we'll come out once a year. We'll clean your gutters. We'll seal all the pipes. We'll check all your flashings. We'll take care of whatever needs to be done. And if there's anything extra that needs to be taken care of or addressed, we'll write an estimate for you. Like on the ventilation, that's a big one. That's probably the one that you're not going to want to do yourself.
So just head over to the website and get that scheduled. I got a question. How are we going to get off this thing?
I say we jump.
Yeah, okay.
All right. If this is what you look like coming off the roof, call us, please.
We're going to have to call 911.